I am super excited to be touched down here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, just before the World Championship Cyclocross race is going to take place on this very course. Now, I've enlisted the help of Ellen Noble, a cyclocross legend, to hopefully turn me into a fairly average cyclocross rider in something that looks marginally like a pro, starting off with how to corner. Now, if you're wondering why I'm dressed up like this, it's because it's -8 degrees. Absolutely freezing. So it's about time before I get on the bike and meet Ellen. Oh, here she is. Ellen.
Hi.
CX Pro. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I can't wait to learn a bit more about CX and on off-road, especially today, how to corner. And you got another bike with you. Is that one for me?
I do, yeah. On the cyclocross race circuit, we usually have a couple of bikes to keep one in the pit. So I brought you one of my extras, and we even went full custom for you on the front with your name, just like mine.
No, you didn't. I like what you've done there, actually. Right, so where do we start with how to corner?
We're gonna start just kind of going over all of the sort of bullet points of where to look, where to put your body weight. And the great thing about this sort of lesson is that it's applicable in all types of terrain. So it's obviously freezing cold here today, but in mud, dry, steep, or flat, you can typically use this type of technique on pretty much anything.
Sweet. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get going, and especially because it's absolutely freezing.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's get
warm.
But first, I need a helmet. Oh, look at this corner.
Oh, I think this is perfect.
Does this look good?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Time for the first step, hey Ellen?
The first step you want to consider when learning how to corner like a pro is your approach. You want to think about how you're going to enter the corner and subsequently how it's going to affect your exit. A lot of people think that the fastest way to take a corner is by taking the shortest line, but that's not always the case. What you actually want to prioritize is taking the line that allows you to carry the most momentum. So let's take a look at how your line choice can impact your cornering. With pretty much every corner that you'll encounter on a cyclocross course, you're going to apply a similar technique for line choice. And that line choice is going to be starting wide and cutting narrow just at the apex, and then letting yourself run wide again. That's typically the best way to carry the most momentum. But where the challenge starts is applying that to each unique corner based on terrain and any sort of hazards that you may encounter in that particular corner. So if we take this one for an example, you'll see that we have a lot of frozen ruts. We have some footprints and just a lot of things that could cause you to fall or definitely slow you down. So with a corner like this, I would still apply the same technique of going wide against the tape and then cutting in, but you just have to adapt your line choice so that you're not getting stuck into anything dangerous.
So Ellen, first step, taking a line. I guess it's time for me to put what you've said into practice. You ready?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Oh God, here goes.
Good luck. Woohoo!
Whoa. Right. How'd I do?
You killed it. Yeah.
Good line?
10 out of 10.
That's what I like to hear. I guess it's time for the next step. You ready?
Yeah. Yep.
What is the next step?
Braking.
Yeah, something I'm not that good at.
If braking to carry momentum through the corner isn't enough of a challenge, then you can start to think about how you modulate braking through the corners. On a turn like this, you can pull both of your brakes evenly in the straight section leading up to the corner. But once you start to actually turn, you're going to want to reduce the pressure on the front brake and let the rear brake do the majority of the work. So on this straight section, I'm still going to be pulling both of my brakes, and I'm about to start coming into the corner right here. So I'm going to let off the front brake and just keep my hand on the rear brake to slow me down, and now I'm just going to let off both. Now it's Hank's turn.
Right, the racing line sorted. Now it's time to put Ellen's words into practice when it comes to braking. Something I'm not great at, but here goes. Thinking about the line, Scrubbing off the speed. Taking my hands off the brakes, back on the gas. So that's braking done. Ellen, what's the next step?
So by now, hopefully you're feeling confident with the first two aspects of cornering, and now it's time to go over, I think, the most important and personally my favorite part of cyclocross cornering, which is body position. As we've talked about previously, this approach can be used for all different types of corners and all different types of terrain in cyclocross. So let's get into it. The three body parts you want to consider to maximize cornering efficiency are going to be your feet, your hands, and your butt. To begin, you always want to have your outside foot pressed all the way down. So you want to be actively putting weight into this outside foot. Subsequently, moving on to the hands, you want the opposite hand to whatever your outside foot is. So your inside hand to be actively pressing into the hood. So in theory, if you were to go around a really flat corner, you should be able to balance without either of these limbs to support you. The last thing to consider is your butt position. You don't want to be fully seated on the saddle, but you're also not going to be standing up out of the saddle either. You're going to be finding a balance of having your butt just unweighted out of the saddle so that there's just a little bit of daylight between the saddle and your chamois.
Now, like a true pro, Ellen made that look really easy, but now it's my turn. So to recap, I want to put all my weight on the outside leg and keep that nice and straight with a bit of pressure on the inside hand, and I'll be slightly back on the saddle. I think I got that.
Okay, so those are all the steps and you did great, but the real art is putting it all together, and the more you get it done, the faster you can go. So do you want to try it together? Absolutely,
it's time to sit on your wheel.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can keep up.
Yeah, let me do the work.
Yeah, right, let's go. Ellen, I think I've got slightly better at cornering. Thank you very much.
You've gotten so much better. Amazing improvement.
Thank you so much. Guys, I hope you can put those techniques into practice and get your cornering that bit better, and hopefully we'll all end up a bit like Ellen Noble. Fingers crossed. Thank you for joining us. Make sure, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget, we have got the World Championships shown on GCN Plus this coming weekend.